You are watching Zu viel Hitze.
Welcome to Land am Strome, the show where I tell you why you should listen to Austrian music. Now, for this first episode, I thought we at the channel, at Zu viel Hitze, like to take things slow. So, what better way to start off than with talking about 6 EPs from the last 10 years from Austria that I think you should check out. Let's take a look. I sound a little surprised at this point because honestly, I didn't think we would just talk about the last 10 years, but now that I look at the selection, yeah, it is actually just from the last 10 years. But don't worry, there is more. And starting up, we have a classic, the one, the only, Fennesz. And you know, I don't think Fennesz really needs an introduction at this point, but I'm lenient. I'll give you one regardless, if you heathens haven't heard of this man. So basically, Fennesz is the Austrian electronic musician that you need to know about. He has plenty of classic records under his belt. He is absolutely fantastic. In particular, we are talking about his 2018 EP Station 1. It's an ambient piece. It has 2 tracks, Tom and Silk Road. It is very laid back. It invokes the feeling of being outside on a summer night and just laying back, listening to the crickets and maybe also listening to this EP. Now from a very well-known artist, we move on to a maybe not so well-known artist. They are called I'm a Sloth. They are a Vienna-based grunge punk trio. They already have 2 records out. What I want to focus on today is their 2020 EP, My Body is My Capital. What makes them quite unique is that they have 2 vocalists. They have both a feminine and a masculine voice, which really mixes things up and keeps their sound quite engaging. And yeah, they can definitely play it harsh enough, but there is always a pleasant lead melody or 2 that will keep you engaged and nodding along to the song. Next up we have Mummy is Mental. More specifically their 2019 EP, Mummy is Mental. It's a self-titled. And yeah, this is more grunge punk, but compared to I'm a Sloth, definitely more on the noisier side. You have very abrasive guitars, you have fast rhythms, you even have occasional shouts and growls, but you also have femme vocals. And this is their only official release so far, so if you want more, you should definitely check on YouTube. You can find 3 bonus songs on there from their early career. Definitely also worth to check them out. Next up we have Sternenmühle, a 1-person modern classical music project, and their 2021 EP, You Know I'll Be. Now, this EP has 4 tracks, it has a lot of piano, it has some synth element, a synth chorus, and to me, if I want to lay back and relax and maybe just have a cup of tea or read something, then it's definitely something I would put on. But honestly, being a RPG enthusiast and liking my weekly D&D sessions, I can also see myself putting on this music and, you know, just exploring some dungeons and maybe saving some people in trouble. So this is kind of like an all-purpose classical music project, at least for me. Maybe it's also for you. And number 5, we have Vienna, Rest in Peace. Now, this band is pretty specific if you ask me. Because, you know, usually I really like to go by genres and really like to name genres and put genres to bands so people know if they will like what they are getting into. But with Vienna, Rest in Peace, that is kind of hard to do. I would call them avant folk, sometimes baroque pop, sometimes experimental rock. It is kind of hard to define. They do have a lot of people and a lot of instruments on stage. By the way, if you ever manage to catch them live, it is absolutely blissful. You should definitely do that. circling back to the EP that I was going to talk about, it is the Amazing EP. And despite having an English name, this is actually the first EP on this list that features German lyrics. And I guess you are familiar with German music, or rather music in German, with Kraftwerk, Rammstein, maybe the Toten Hosen, maybe the Ärzte. But yeah, this is something different. This is inspiring. I'm a literature major, and I would compare the lyrics on this EP to the literature of the early 20th century, Fin de siècle, Décadence, Inouï, Thomas Mann vibes, if that is your jam, and if you want to speak German, or if you already speak German, then definitely also read along to the lyrics. There are 3 tracks on this EP, the first 2 original tracks. The third one, and that unfortunately is not on Spotify, is a cover of Nick Cave's Weeping song, Das Weinelied, translated to German. It is also absolutely fantastic. I think you might be able to find it on Bandcamp. So if you like the German language, or if you want to start learning German, I would definitely recommend you check this EP out. It's fantastic. And last but not least, we have the Tyrolean DJ triplet, Restless Leg Syndrome. Now, more specifically, their Venom EP from 2021. In 2021, they actually released 4 EPs. This one was the first one, and in my opinion, the best one. And what you can expect from this EP is just straight up instrumental hip-hop bangers. They play with Oriental Arabian sounds on this EP that is 5 tracks long, but feels like you blink and it's over. There is no downtime here. You constantly want to keep on moving to those fine beats. And that's a wrap. Those are 6 EPs from Austria that I think you should listen to. But what is that? My trap card, a bonus round. We have a 7th EP coming through. Now this one is a special one because it's actually not on Spotify. You will have to go to Bandcamp to listen to this one. It is by Benji.Musick, Going with the Flow, and it was actually released this year. Once again, I'm having a bit of a hard time to narrow Benji.Musick's output down on this EP, and that doesn't mean that you will find anything quite like that on his other projects, because honestly, this person is always mixing it up. On this EP, they focus on ambient sounds that they recorded throughout the last year, apparently, and it's a pretty wild mix. It is 2 tracks, clocking it at 19 minutes, pretty long for 2 tracks, but it's definitely worth a listen. The central motive is water and flowing, and it starts out with the sound of water flowing, but then more sounds come in and they just mash together, and you are taken into this electronic landscape on a journey. Honestly, I feel like for this one you either have to listen to it in the dark or you have to be high on something, because the creator probably was too. Now, no more trap cards. That's actually it for today. Those were 6 + 1 EPs from Austria that I think you should listen to. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to whatever you want to do with this video. I would be more than happy. Thank you for watching. This was Zu viel Hitze.